Welcome everyone. Today's video, I thought we'd do a little bit of a mid-March tour. Now, I'm going to give you a realistic look around my garden. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. Now, I'm going to show you all of my garden, the good and the bad. I'm also going to talk through some of the planting that I'm going to do through spring and summer. So I'd like your input as well. So at any point, jump in the comments and let me know if you'd plant anything different or you've got any plant ideas you think I should adopt in my garden this year. So we're going to start with the original border. So I'll give you a little bit of a background on it before we go a full walkthrough. So I planted this up just 3 springs ago. This is its 3rd season. So it's got a long way to go compared to some gardens, right? But it's made some fantastic progress. We've had some wins and we've had some losses for sure, right? But I'm really happy with the way things are going. The one thing I do need to add to the garden is some more evergreen interest, and that's something I did this winter just gone. And it needs lots more, right? And a lot more established plants. But I'm the kind of guy who likes to do my own seeds, my own cuttings, and I do love a bargain plant, and I really don't mind buying small and letting it grow tall. Starting from right to left, we've got a lot to talk about, but this Fatsia japonica just here was actually bought as a house plant, and it's done amazing. I'm waiting until the warmer weather and I'm going to create like a canopy on this Fatsia. So I'm going to strip the leaves off at the base and try and encourage obviously to grow even bigger and creating that micro climate. So that is the far right hand side. I can't wait to do a bit of stripping back on that. The bananas, so do I regret unwrapping these in February? No, absolutely not. They've done absolutely amazing. There's a little bit of cold damage just at the very tips, but that's to be expected. And the first 2, 3, even 4 leaves to actually unravel, they look rubbish. So I'm not worried. This is what they should look like. So I've managed to keep all the growth on those, and they 8-9 feet at the very top. So I'm very, very happy. Grass is slowly coming back, but I will do a bit of work on the grass in April. Just waiting for things to warm up just a touch. I have a beautiful peony just here. Now this really does look good when it comes out. Again, all 3 of these plants have been in for 3 years and they're doing absolutely amazing. So I've got a Scheffler that's going through it a little bit. So this has got having a bit of a wobble. I'll take these leaves off. So this is a Scheffler Mountain Gem, but just as you see in the middle, it's got a new growth point. So when it really starts to warm up, it's going to throw out lovely new growth. When that happens, I probably am going to take these leaves off instead of just feeding it, concentrating on getting these leaves back to yellow. I'll let the plant concentrate on throwing out some lovely new growth. So that is a Scheffler Mountain Gem. Last year I added this beautiful variegated grass, and then this season I've added a Cuba japonica to the front of the bed, and that's a little bit controversial considering how big they actually get, but I do want this border to be absolutely huge, so I'm just gonna have to manage this plant just here. And that's spotted laurel, a Cuba japonica. Just as we move to the left, so I've left a nice big gap here, and this is going to be for my red Ensete, my red banana. I'm yet to purchase that, so I'll be looking out for B&M and other places like that for another bargain. And just to the right here is going to be my ricinus, so that's going to sit in this gap here, and I'm probably going to plant about 3. And you'd probably say it's overkill. You're absolutely right, but I really want to make this border lovely and full just to the middle there. Another Kerex grass just here, and then we have a beautiful Cordyline australis. This is what we call a multi-stem. It actually got knocked back last season with the frosts. It took the tip out, and that's where you see a multi-crown on that. Moving through, we've got a really lovely Choisia tenata just here. This is also known as a Mexican orange blossom. It throws out a little white flower in spring. They're really quite lovely. So I'm looking forward to that getting a big shrub, and that shrub gets to about 4 or 5 foot tall. So you imagine when we look back a little bit, If that gets 4 or 5 foot, then we've got a big Trachycarpus fortunei at the back there. That's going to create lovely height in the back of the border. Then just in the gap here, again, we're going to have some ricinus this year. So again, oh, that's thrown out some lovely buds. More Acuba japonica, so evergreen interest. And then just in the back here, we're actually going to have some canna lilies and some hardy gingers. Now, they're going to look great. They're going to sit anything from 3 foot tall to 5 feet tall. Ricin at the back is going to be a monster. I'm hoping over 6 feet. I bought the variety that should get much bigger. This here, a bit of a one that needs to come out. So this is a perennial geranium. That's just going to give some colour to the middle, but that needs to move now. I've extended the border. Already talked about that. So we've got a Trachycarpus fortunei. That was tiny when it went in. It's finally making some good growth. Then in the corner, that's still got a tiny bit of wrap in the middle because we lost the centre of the growth. And that is a Fatsia japonica again. This beast just here, please ignore the fence. I need to paint that. I couldn't get behind it last year. That's my Gunnera tinctoria. That's going to be a really good size. And then I have planted a small perennial geranium. The idea being, all these are going to come over, all the leaves are going to come over from my Gunnera, and through those leaves, in between the leaves, should I say, going to be lovely purple flowers. Moving on to my Trachycarpus fortunei. I actually picked this up from the reduced aisle at B&Q for just £25. So it's always worth checking, but that does need a little bit of pruning in the warmer weather. I'm going to take out the outer leaves on that. So back to the original border. So you can see where I've actually extended it just around there. Used to be just running straight through here. Got a fig tree, which is called brown turkey, yet to have figs, because I don't know what it's doing, but it seems to bud up at weird times of year, and I never really get anything from it. So that's a beautiful architectural leaf though. That's brown turkey at my fig tree. Just through here, we've got some crocosmia. We've had terrible winds here in Staffordshire. I've got pots everywhere. And then we have a hot lip salvia just here, which I'm hoping it's going to throw out some nice leaf. And we'll do some pruning on this. We've got a very small Dixonia antarctica, which has now been unwrapped. We'll just got to see how this goes. Again, I bought that for about £5 at the reduced section. And it's a couple of years old now. Beautiful purple euphorbia. More evergreen grasses. We have a really nice sambuca, which I'm hoping that it's going to really size up here. And then we have a rather sickly looking Chamaerops humilis. Needs to do a bit of pruning. It's always kind of looked like this. I didn't buy it looking like this, but as I planted it, it's never really done much. I have fed it, so I'm just gonna have to keep an eye on that. It looks nice when we get other foliage plants in with it. 'Cause last year with the ferns and things, it's nice when we get other foliage plants in with it. 'Cause last year with the ferns and things, it looked great, but it's not doing its thing. Formium then, variegated formium, and then I was hoping this was going to do much better, but it hasn't. And this is my loquat tree. I've always wanted a loquat, but there's got some new growth on, so all is not lost. Moving around, so we've got some more evergreen ferns. We've got a very small Photinia cross Fraseri, because I wanted some evergreen interest up this back fence here. And then we've got a Roost typhina just in the corner with a Scheffler Taiwaniana, and this hasn't skipped a beat. I bought this from a B&M bargain plant. I'm hoping it's going to put out some lovely new growth this year, and it looks amazing for what it is. And it's going to be very much the same when it comes to summer planting or spring planting. When it comes to this side wall, we're going to add some ricinus to the side of it, along with canna lilies, gingers, and we're going to have some amaranthus as well to add some really lovely colour. So we're going to have some instant height just while we're waiting for those evergreens to mature. Something a little bit different here in the island bed. So this is my foxglove tree, and it's actually starting to throw some shoots out, which I'm going to show you because I'm super excited about this. Because I actually transplanted this in January. We had a mild spot. So when it comes to transplanting and planting, you can plant any time of year, right? As long as there's not active frosts in the ground. I know what you're thinking, maybe summer. As long as you give it enough water, you can plant things wherever you want them, but you've just got to bear that in mind. Now, I transplanted this in January and I haven't watered it because obviously it's rained every day up till recent times, right? So this is a foxglove tree. This is one of the fastest growing trees in the world. Now, one of the questions I had about pollarding them, now with them being such a vigorously growing tree, and they can do sort of 10, 12, 15 feet in a year, I'm always going to keep it down to this height. So what I mean by that is every time it gets past this point, I'm going to take it off here and let the new growth come out on top. I almost want to create a standard tree with it. So I've got my new cordyline, which was just £5, which looks a bit sickly, but it will be absolutely fine. I've got some evergreens and Cuba japonicas just here. I have my Siamensis, which is just starting to throw out some nice new growth. So I'm happy about that because that was really wet through. And then just here, we're going to have a Cleopatra canna lily. I might even put an amaranth just in this gap just here, or amaranthus just in this gap here, and that bed will be absolutely fine for summer. I'm not going to do anything with it. But yeah, pollarding, bring it down and keep it that height. So every probably spring and not autumn, I'm simply going to get my saw, take it off to here, and then let the new growth do its thing and do that every single year. Obviously this will get thicker and thicker, so I might have to think about what sort of saw I'm going to use. But that is that. I'm super happy with this. Let me give you a close up with this, and then I'm really happy with that, and I'll show you where this sort of bed fits in with the garden as I pan you round. Something I've worked on and I'm really happy about it. Look at that. So we've got growth on there and there. It's great. I'll probably take the growth off a bit lower down and concentrate on one main leader, but for now, super happy. Back to the main bed then. So if I pan you around, very much a garden in progress, guys. So I'll show you everything. I really don't mind you guys seeing it all. Gives you a realistic view of a garden, right? So that's the centre bed. This is going to be a monster. This is the Padlonia. I can't wait. It's going to add some real sort of not depth. What's the word I'm looking for? Drop down below when it's centerpiece. There we go. It's going to be a really lovely centerpiece, to be honest, and I can't wait for that. So let's take you to the back border. So we've got the swing set, and this is what I'm working on, and we'll start from just here. Everything in my garden is a work in progress, and I think gardens are, so I'm not ashamed to show you. So we had some split geraniums and then more Cuba japonica. So there's a theme, so repeating plants really does work within the garden. So we have one banana, which is yet to be planted, and in there we've got some crocosmia. And then we've got a lovely euonymus. That's gonna come over just lovely, to be fair. And then we've got one of my favorite plants. This is a Tetrapanax T-Rex. Just there. That's done great. With some black grasses just below it. These are actually some cuttings that I took, because the idea being for me here is we're going to have evergreen interest, and it's going to be a hedge all the way around it. So I'm going to literally cut it like a hedge, and it's going to go all the way around. I know I'm a few years off it, right? I get it. It's all about the long game, but that's going to look great. That's the plan anyway. Again, lovely Sambuca. This is a black lace variety. We have Euphorbia, sorry, some lovely nettles. Let me know down below if you got some of them in your garden. And then this is lovely. This is called spiderweb fatsia. Just look at the leaves on those. And that's come through better than my actual fatsia japonica, the green leaf one. Just as we pan up against the greenhouse, we're repeating themes, right? So we're repeating the plants. I think that's where the banana's going to go by unanimous decision on another vlog. And then we're repeating the same plants. So geranium, sambuca, variegated grasses, the Cuba japonica. We have some crocosmia coming up, lovely. Cordyline australis. This I really like. Adds some real difference to it. It's a pink marble Photinia. That looks lovely. Again, repeating, so we have some golden euonymus. We have Cuba japonica. Might even do some pruning on this. Take out the take out the yellow just here. Bamboo, which is still in the pot. And then we have a beautiful Rustifina just there. I'll take you around the other way as well and show you what it's going to look like as we actually walk to the garden. So we have some evergreen ferns, deciduous ferns. We have got some more lovely variegated grasses. This was one of the very first plants that come into the garden. This is a Trachycarpus fortunei. Looks great. This needs to rot down, just needs watering. That's going to go into the garden. And then we've got a lovely, just make that out there, Tetrapanax. That is the other variety, and that hasn't sprouted so well, so you can see the difference between the two. Another beauty of a cordyline, and then we've got some more grasses. I'll pan you around the other way, and then you can see the whole garden for its whole thing. Very much work in progress. We've got a lot of lawn care to do here and here, a lot of planting to get done in the borders, and then we need to sort of declutter. Once the summer bedding's out, or the late spring bedding, summer bedding is gone out with the ricinus and all that sort of good stuff. I'm just really going to concentrate on enjoying this garden. And there we have it. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been a real look at what the garden looks like. And there we have it. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's a realistic look around my garden, right? Because things don't always look the best all the time, but that's okay, isn't it? I've made a real mess in the winter all through January trying to do a load of work on it, but I think it will really pay off come spring. So that is my mid-March tour. I'm going to do this every month just so I can document it, and hopefully by the end of the year I can look back on this vlog and think it's come a long way, like it needs to every year, right, while things are still small. But if you did enjoy it, then please give it a big thumbs up, as it really does help the channel out. Drop a comment down below, as it helps share it out to others who love gardening just like we do. Let me know your thoughts. Until tomorrow, see you in the garden. You take care.